Hello, and welcome to the Godly Playroom. I'm Jackie, and I'm here today to share with you. I hope that you're ready for a continuing story in our Easter series. Thanks for joining us today. I'm coming to you from First United Church here in Wetaskiwin. Are you ready for our story? Before we do that, I need to light our candle. Once there was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things. The people followed him. And when they were with him, they wondered, "Who are you?" And so they asked him that, "Who are you?" And one time he said, "I am the light." We are in the season of Easter, and so we have a white cloth. And today is the second story, but we will recap the first story of knowing Jesus in a new way. Here is the story. The woman had gone to the tomb. And they left the tomb because they could see nothing but the white linen cloth, and they wanted to tell others. Very few would believe them. Peter and John came running back to the tomb, and they went inside. And when they were inside, they could feel his presence even in his absence. Mary was at the tomb, and she saw two people who had spoken to her when she was crying. And they had told her to go on to Galilee, that Jesus was there. But then she heard another voice. A voice that said, "Why are you weeping?" And she had asked, "Where have you taken him?" And then he said her name. Who she thought was the gardener was really him. But when she went to touch him, he said he had risen, but not yet ascended. And then he was gone. And Mary went to tell the others. Our second story of knowing Jesus in a new way comes from that same Easter afternoon when two of Jesus' followers were walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus. And as they were walking, they were talking. And they were just trying to figure out the so many things that had happened. The cross, the empty tomb. It was all too much to try and comprehend, and they were probably in very deep thought. So much so that they didn't notice a stranger who came to walk beside them. That was until the stranger said, "What are you talking about?" And they said to the stranger, "Well, how can you not know? So much has happened the last 3 days. Are you the only one that was in Jerusalem and doesn't know? There's the cross, the empty tomb. There's so much to comprehend." And the stranger said, "You are foolish and slow of heart." And then the stranger opened the scriptures to them. And the stranger said, "Do you remember when we were in Egypt and Moses led us through the waters into freedom? Do you remember when we were trapped in our freedom in the desert? And God gave Moses the 10 Commandments to show us the way?" And then he said, "Do you remember that the prophets said when we were trapped in exile, that the prophets said that a child would lead them and that someone would have to come and suffer and die so that we could truly live?" They had finally made it to Emmaus, and the stranger was about to go off when the two invited him to stay with them. That night, when they were having their supper at the inn, the stranger took some bread. He thanked God for it and broke it. And he gave each of them a piece. And it was then that the two knew who he was. And just as they realized who he was gone. The two of them sat at the table for a while. Now they knew why their hearts had burned as they walked along the road from Jerusalem to Emmaus. And now they knew that they had to go back to Jerusalem so that they could tell the others that he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. I wonder what you might find around your home that would remind you of this story, or one of the other stories as well, the other story as well. The breaking of the bread, something we do every day, is eat. Do we remember?
I was looking for something else the other day, and I found some of my Bibles. I have quite a few. But each one I had for a reason, right? Like I have a little wee one that there's no hope in heck I could read it now. The print is so small. But I bought it originally to carry with me when I went into hospitals or to a funeral, and I didn't want to have to have a bag, but something that would fit in a pocket, so that I had those stories. And I think about all the people that have given me Bibles, or occasions where I've given somebody a Bible, and how those stories come to life at different times in our lives, and our hearts burn, right? Or we feel that passion or that curiosity, and how many people have been part of that road from Jerusalem to Emmaus over the generations.
As you say that, I think about sometimes you don't even realize what that person will mean for you when you first meet them.
Mm-hmm.
And then life changes because of meeting that person.
Yeah.
So, and I've had a few of those in my life for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even strangers, right, that just only accompany us maybe for a short time, but still have a huge impact.
Yeah.
In our lives. Sometimes just when we think we're finally getting it, oh, and then, they're gone. Life moves on, and
yeah.
But the influence is no less important.
Two very interesting stories. Well, I think we're going to move into our response time. So if you have not gathered anything yet for your response, please do so now, and then maybe grab something that you can have to feast with together. Welcome back. I wonder what you found for response today. I thought I'd get a little mucky and work with some clay. So, here we go. It's been a long time since I've worked with some clay. And I don't really know what I'm going to create. I'm just going to trust that something will come. Sometimes working with clay is just finding out what comes. I think maybe someone might be walking on a road. I wonder when you're walking down the street if you say hello to someone who you meet. I had someone accuse me of eavesdropping this week. And I wonder if that's what the stranger was doing. Just walking and hearing someone talking and just thinking I might have something to share in that conversation. Or when you're so involved in a conversation that you don't even realize that there's someone there. And maybe it's a newcomer or someone who we don't take the time to pay attention. That's something that I try and be intentional about when I meet someone new. Because I've moved a number of times, and I know what it feels like when I'm the stranger in the crowd. And just to make someone feel welcome is such a good thing. Don't know what this is becoming.
I'm always nervous about inviting someone to my place to eat because I don't feel like I'm a very good cook. But the two men were not afraid to have the stranger come and eat with them. And what a life-changing experience it was for them. I could never make bread like my husband could, but this is going to be my loaf of bread. And he broke it, and he shared it. When we share time with others, it can mean so much, and sometimes we don't even know how much to the other person. I wonder if we're all willing to share our time or even our food. Some of my favorite times when I was working was when we were at the Play-Doh table with the kids. Because we got into some real conversations and we could serve up food to each other and bake it together and imagine what it tasted like and have so much fun. After our two followers of Jesus had eaten with him, they had to go and tell the others. I wonder what you're excited to share today with someone else. Do you have something that happened today that you want to share with others? When we share our stories together, that's how we get to know each other. Well, I think I'm going to clean up my mess now, which really wasn't as messy as I thought it might be. And we'll head into our feast time together. Hi, and welcome back to the Godly Playroom. I've found my feast, and I hope you have too. Before we start, I think we will pray. For health and strength and daily food, we give you thanks, O God. Amen. Whoops. Better clean my hands, even though I just washed them after all that clay. Well, this time I have a muffin for eating. Made me think about the bread that was broken and shared. So I brought one of my banana muffins to eat. I had a whole rash of bananas that needed to be made into something, so they made it into muffins. I wonder who you share your meals with. Do you take time to talk during your meals and share together about the things of your day? eating time was always a favorite time with my family. It was about the only time we got the kids together to sit together, and maybe they'd tell us something about their day, maybe not, but it was a good time to check in with everyone, and I miss those times around the table. And I always enjoy the time when I do eat with someone, whether it be out for lunch together or sharing a meal with someone. I think when you live alone, you realize how much that companionship means. And I wonder if that's what it was like for those people in the story today. They had listened to this stranger, and he had said some interesting things, and maybe he had some more to say to share. They invited him to come with them. It's kind of a good thing. Because then they realized who he really was. Over a meal is often when lots of conversation will start. When I grew up, we had to sit at the table until my dad was finished. And my dad, I'm sorry, Dad, but you were the slowest eater that there ever could be. But I think that's where we learned that we had to talk or something, because you had to sit there. But I've always appreciated that we sat together at the table and that we did talk together. And that was something that we did with my family when my children were growing. And hopefully with my grandchildren too. You just don't get together as much with grandchildren as you'd like sometimes. Think about what you want to tell someone today. Take time to share a story with someone. It means a lot. And maybe you'll just want to tell them what you learned in the God to Play story today, or what spoke to you in today's story. Share that with someone. It might start a conversation. Well, I think I'm going to put away my muffin now and finish it later. But I thank you for sharing feast time with me today. I wish and look forward to the day when we can actually talk together in the Godly Playroom and share feast fully together. But I'm going to put my feast away and we'll change the light. The light has just been in this one time and this one place. But the light will change now so that it can move out into all times and all places, even where you are. Can you see it? I can really see it today.
Thanks for taking time today to share with us in godly play. We look forward to seeing you again. Bye.